Welcome back to another listen of Where Silence Has Something to Say. In the Audacity of Robbery, we faced the brazenness of robbing Elohim to his face, taking what is his while standing in his presence. But there is another kind of loss, one no less shameless and no less devastating. This one isn't as brazen in your face and confrontational. It waits. It isn't robbery, it's theft. And it strikes when the watchman is asleep. Oftentimes, we don't realize what's been taken until we wake up spiritually empty, panicked, violated, and wondering what went wrong. How did this happen? All the while conveniently forgetting how we violated Elohim by robbing him. But the word does not forget. And the thief comes when we forget. He doesn't need our verbal permission. He only needs our absence. So, let's zero in with precision because sin invites the thief and opens the gate to identity theft when the watchman sleeps. We never prosper when we rob Elohim. We may get by for a short while, then wonder why something is taken from under our nose. But we forgot what happened. We forgot about the robbery and the arrogance and defiance of it that still lingers in our lives, unrepented and unaddressed. Messiah makes a clear distinction between the brazen and the subtle in John chapter 10. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers. Robbery and theft are not the same. Here, thieves in the Greek is kleptes, where we get the English word kleptomaniac. And robbers in the Greek is leistes, and means a bandit or to plunder. Both are criminals, but their method and mindset are different. A robber confronts, brazen, violent, public. A thief deceives, quiet, calculated, hidden. The text goes on to say, the thief comes only to steal, to kill, and destroy. The thief doesn't announce himself. He waits for the breach. He waits until we're unaware, unguarded, and unfocused, mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually. You see, identity theft within covenant isn't about stolen names. It's about stolen purpose and oftentimes property. It happens when we're physically present, but spiritually absent. Proverbs 4 warns, guard your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the issues of life. Genesis 3 tells the story of Adam, Eve, and the serpent. We learn what happens when diligence is abandoned. Adam was placed in the garden to manage and guard it. The text says, "Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field." Adam listened to the serpent speak. He didn't guard the garden. Though physically present, he was spiritually asleep and did not recognize the thief was already there, calculating. The inevitable conclusion: identity and purpose were forfeited. Guarding was Adam's covenant duty, but instead of silencing the thief, he stayed silent himself, and his neglect of guarding opened the gate for contradiction against Elohim's word. His silence was not neutrality, it was an invitation. Genesis 3:6 says, "She took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate." This was the signal. Covenant was abandoned. And in that moment, the thief knew it, and the thief entered. That's identity theft. The thief took what Adam did not guard. Then Judges 16 shows us what happens when we play with covenant. We've heard the story of Samson and Delilah. This is an example of what happens when proximity to danger meets asleep at the watchtower. Samson's strength, his identity and purpose were inseparable from obedient covenant keeping and diligence. Yet, while he played with covenant and slept spiritually, Delilah gained access to the sacred, and his purpose was stolen. Judges 16:20 says, "He did not know that Elohim had departed from him." That's identity theft. The thief took what Samson did not guard. When it comes to our spiritual identity, there is a slow drift many believers normalize instead of recognize. The drift of compromise, curiosity, disinterest, distraction, forgetting, rebellion, and spiritual unavailability. And loss is not always immediate. It's slow, unnoticed indifference. Ephesians 5 warns, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise." But when we stop watching, the thief doesn't hesitate. He waits for the moment we stop guarding. Here's something to consider. When someone's being cunning or clever, remember the serpent. He didn't strike with force. He struck with questions. When someone's being charismatic or charming, remember, not all thieves look dangerous. Some look divine, even masquerade as angels of light. And when someone's being subtle, indirect, shrewd, or insinuating, remember, The seductress or seducer flatters, lures, and waits until the heart is unguarded. So what now? If we recognize these traits and still remain passive, the breach widens. And when the breach widens, the thief doesn't hesitate. He enters. He violates what is sacred. He steals what is entrusted. He perverts what is purposed. Ezekiel was called a watchman, and not in vain. Nehemiah rebuilt the walls with a sword in one hand and a tool in the other. And in Matthew, Messiah didn't just say, "Stay awake." He said it in reference to the thief. If the master of the house had known when the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake. This isn't just about guarding what's ours. It's about guarding what was entrusted. Until next time, take a breath, not to relax, but to recognize and remember what was entrusted. Because thieves strike when we stop guarding, and the most dangerous thieves steal what makes us peculiar: our calling, our covenant, our identity, our purpose. They don't want what's visible. They want what marks us. And there, if the gate is open and unguarded, you'll discover identity theft when the watchman sleeps, where silence has something to say.